We're going deep on Floyd Money Mayweather.
Yeah, but hold on. We're not talking about like another fight,
Okay.
right?
No knockouts this time.
Okay, got it.
This deep dive, we're looking at Mayweather's his whole fitness empire.
Interesting.
And things are getting a little messy.
Yeah. Fill me in. What's going on?
So we're talking accusations of, like, unpaid wages, and not just at one gym either.
Oh, wow. Multiple locations.
Yeah, and multiple Mayweather boxing plus fitness gyms.
See, this is what I find fascinating, right? You've got a celebrity-backed franchise, huge name recognition.
And tons of money, presumably. I mean, it's Floyd Money Mayweather.
Exactly. So this whole situation, it raises some serious questions, like how much responsibility does the big name, the celebrity, actually have?
That's a good question. So for anyone listening who, maybe hasn't been following the story super closely, Mayweather, he launched this whole fitness franchise thing a while back, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago?
Something like that, yeah. The whole idea was to, capitalize on his fame, his training techniques, all that. It seemed like a pretty smart move, at least initially.
It did, yeah. I mean, for a while there, these Mayweather gyms were popping up all over. It seemed like instant success.
Right. And that's a key point here. The way they expanded so quickly, it was all through franchising.
Ah, okay. So explain that for me. How does franchising work exactly?
Well, you see, with franchising, each individual gym location, it's often owned and operated by like an independent business owner, the franchisee. They pay fees to use the brand, the Mayweather name, the training systems, all that, but they're not directly controlled by Mayweather or his main company.
So they're kind of like their own little businesses, but under the big Mayweather umbrella.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay, I get it. But here's where things get complicated. We've got employees from a bunch of these different locations coming forward saying they haven't been paid in weeks.
Oh,
Weeks. Some are saying they haven't gotten a paycheck in months.
that's awful.
These are the people working at the gyms, the trainers, the staff,
Hmm.
you know. They're the ones keeping those places running.
Yeah, and they rely on those paychecks to, pay their bills, live their lives.
Exactly. And you can imagine the optics of this. It just doesn't look good. I mean, you have Mayweather, money, right? His whole persona is built on wealth and success.
And now you have this stark contrast, a lavish lifestyle on one hand and employees struggling to get by on the other. It's a PR nightmare.
Totally. So this is where my head starts spinning a little bit.
Yeah.
Legally speaking, how does this work? If these franchisees are, like you said, their own separate businesses, who's ultimately responsible when something like this happens?
That's the million-dollar question, right? It can get really messy. Legally, it's complicated. You have to establish like a clear link to show that Mayweather or his company directly contributed to, these wages not being paid.
I see. So just having his name on the gym, that might not be enough to hold him legally responsible.
Right. It often comes down to the specifics of the franchise agreement. How much control did Mayweather and his company have over things like payroll at the individual gyms, that kind of thing?
Yeah. But even if legally it's not so clear-cut, morally, ethically, it feels like there's, I don't know, a disconnect. Like you said, you've got Mayweather with all his wealth, and then you have these workers who are being shortchanged.
It definitely raises questions about, what's considered acceptable in these kinds of business arrangements. And this isn't just a Mayweather thing either.
Oh, really? It's more widespread?
Yeah, we're seeing more and more stories about labor issues, complaints within these celebrity-backed franchises.
Wow. It's interesting. Has there ever been a case where, like, a big-name franchisor was held personally liable in a situation like this?
That's a good question. I'm not aware of any specific precedents where a celebrity, just because of their name on the business, faced like personal financial liability. Is usually the franchisee who's on the hook.
Makes sense. So then, what can these employees do? If they're not getting paid, what are their options? Can they take legal action?
They can, yeah. They have options. For example, they could file individual claims against the franchisee, the specific gym owner who employed them. There's also sometimes the possibility of like collective action. If a bunch of employees are experiencing the same thing, they might be able to join forces, legally speaking.
Right. Strength in numbers.
Exactly. They could also explore, whether there are any existing labor laws that might offer some protection in this kind of situation.
Okay. That's good to know. So there is some hope there.
Yeah.
What about Mayweather's company? Have they responded to these allegations?
They have, yeah. They released a statement saying they're, investigating the allegations, taking them seriously. But so far, there hasn't been Like a concrete plan of action, no clear timeline on when these employees might actually get paid?
Hmm. So it's kind of a wait-and-see situation. But, I have to wonder, could this whole thing have a ripple effect on the fitness industry, especially for other businesses operating under this franchise model?
Oh, absolutely. I think this case could really push for more transparency within the whole franchising world. People might start asking, tougher questions before buying into a franchise. They'll want more accountability from like the main company, the people at the top.
That makes sense. Consumers are getting savvier.
They are. And I think that's a good thing.
It is. This whole deep dive, it's been really eye-opening. We started with, like, a celebrity fitness empire, and now we're talking about legal stuff, workers' rights, the future of franchising. It's wild.
It is, isn't it? And it really makes you think. At the end of the day, it comes down to this. How much responsibility should a celebrity like Mayweather bear for what happens within, you know, this network of businesses with his name on them, even if it is structured as a franchise?
Exactly. And it makes me think, too, about our role as consumers. Should we be holding these big names accountable for how their businesses operate? What do you think?
I think it's something we all need to consider.
I agree. And we'd love to hear your thoughts, too, everyone listening.
Yeah, jump into the conversation. Let us know what you think.
Hit us up on social media.
Let's keep this discussion going.
Absolutely.